Hey guys, welcome back to Modern Thirst. This is a fun one for me. I hope it's a fun one for you. I'm going to do a three-way tasting of the 3 fall limited editions from Heaven Hill. Now, you should know before we get started, I'm a little bit of an unabashed Heaven Hill fanboy, so this is really exciting for me when we do these. But today we've got for you 3 special whiskeys, and I think you're going to like them. The first one is the Oldfitz Gerald Bottled in Bond. This is the Fall 2020 edition. It's 14 years old, 100 proof, and this is their wheated mash bill. So it's the same mash bill as the original Oldfitz Gerald was before it was discontinued. And today's Larceny is the same as well. Speaking of Larceny, the second one we have is the Larceny Barrel Proof. This is the C920, so it came out September of 2020. 122 proof, 122.4. And Larceny is typically 6 to 8 years old. It's from the middle racks of the warehouse. So I'm really looking forward to this. These batch versions of Larceny I have found to be excellent. And the last one we're going to do for you is Parker's Heritage. Parker's Heritage is one of the most popular that comes out of Heaven Hill every year. This one is following up on last year. They did a heavy char rye whiskey, and this is a heavy char bourbon whiskey. So it's 10 years old. This one's 120 proof. And by heavy char, what they mean is they put that in a number 5 char barrel, which is the highest char level. Typically, Heaven Hill uses a 3 to 3.5, but really more like a 3. So anyway, with that being said, let's just get into this. I do want to point out that by the end of November, late November, we're going to be doing a joint video with some of the guys from Modern Thirst, and that will be when we draw for the winner of the 4-Gate Batch 5 Foundation bottle. Absolutely free, so long as you buy yourself one of these coins. They're really cool. We've got maybe 5 to 6 of them left, something like that. You can buy them on our website, ModernThirst.com/shop. They're $10 each, including shipping. Each one of them is numbered right there, and that's your entry. We kept about 10 or 15 of these in-house, so your chances is 1 out of 85 if you buy one of these coins for a $200 bottle. So we really think you'll like that. But anyway, let's taste some bourbon. The first one, Old Fitzgerald, Bottled in Bond, 14 years old. I have been a big Old Fitz fan and that Heaven Hill wheated mash bill for a long time. There's quite a few of the old green labels behind me somewhere on these shelves. I bought up a bunch of them when I heard they were discontinuing it, and I still like it a lot. But right off the nose, lots of simple syrup on this one. Cotton candy. Circus peanuts, very indicative of Old Fitz. And another thing I'll say is that a lot of these Bottled in Bond limited editions, I don't feel like have been very true to the mash bill. Sometimes they seem a little hot, sometimes they seem a little woody, and sometimes they just kind of lose that kind of sticky sweetness you get with their mash bill. But on the nose, this has it in spades. It's very nice. That caramel, kind of a light caramel. Some good solid oak, but not overpowering. Maybe a little bit of raisin. Kind of dried fruits in there, dried apricots. A little bit of baked goods. You know, it just reminds me of being at a carnival. You know, funnel cake, but and it's that kind of sweetness, just sugar, dough, simple syrup, cotton candy, circus peanuts. Very nice. Yeah, that's it really follows through. You never get a real heavy tannic oak. Sometimes, especially 14 years, and especially with Heaven Hills, who I think tend to be very barrel forward to start with, they can be a little overpowering with the oak. This one's not. At 14 years old, kind of surprising. Very light, very delicate, very drinkable, very sweet. That kind of sugary funnel cake dough definitely carries through. A little bit of the raisins, dried apricots, a little peach note in there. But all in all, that simple syrup just keeps running throughout that theme. I've found that all the way back through the pre-fire Heaven Hill days in their wheated mash bill. It's really nice. I really like this. In my opinion, this is probably one of the better Bottled in Bond limited edition Old Fitzes they've done. This one is definitely kind of a luxurious bourbon. Some of them I felt like you're kind of paying for the decanter. These come in a kind of a collectible crystal decanter. Sometimes I feel like you pay as much for the decanter as you do the whiskey inside, but this one's really nice. I really like this, and I'm going to have to find a bottle of it. The finish is kind of medium. Yeah, it's kind of medium, and that's really where the oak kind of asserts itself. But again, it's not really overpowering. It's not huge. It's nice. Very nice. Now, the reason I'm doing these in this order, we're stepping up in proof to the Larceny barrel proof and then stepping down just a hair. We're going from 122 to back to 120 for this one. These are the same mash bill. This is the Larceny barrel proof, and this is the Oldfitz. It's the same mash bill, so what we basically had is a 14-year version at 100 proof, and now we'll have a 6 to 8-year version at 122 proof. And I also kind of feel like the heavy char on the Parker's Heritage might overwhelm them if I drink that first. So we're going to go straight to the Larceny C920. Now, a few years ago, before these regular releases of the Larceny barrel proof came out, there were a number of single barrel picks of Larceny. And I think I bought maybe 3 or 4 different ones that came out. I don't know why I bought 3 or 4 because they were terrible. They were kind of a hot mess in a bottle, in my opinion. But I've had most of these small batch versions of it, and they've been really good. Really like them. They're exactly what you would expect Larceny at barrel proof to be. If you think about the other Heaven Hill barrel proof, the stalwart that they offer, it's the Elijah Craig, and you taste Elijah Craig, and Elijah Craig barrel proof is exactly what you would expect Elijah Craig to be at barrel proof and slightly older. It's the same flavors. Everything is just kind of concentrated. There's not additional flavors that you can't pull out of a good bottle of Elijah Craig. Those original Larcenys that were single barrels, the ones that I had, they did not taste like Larceny to me. They just tasted like a really hot, over-the-top hot bourbon. But all of these batch versions, these new limited editions that come out with the batch numbers on them, they've been really good, and they're exactly what you would expect Larceny to be. So I'm going to go ahead and take a taste of that. I would expect a little bit more of that simple syrup. Larceny tends to be a little more oak forward than the Oldfitz line has been. And that's definitely the case here. There is without a doubt some oak on this. I'm getting a little more kind of a pie crust, almost like a cinnamon pie crust or graham cracker pie crust. A little marshmallow maybe. This is very much on the baked goods side, where this was on the sweet and kind of delicate side or almost pastry side. This is baked goods. This is breads. This is s'mores. Dark, decadent, sweet. I think like chewy. Like a chocolate chip cookie cake. A little bit of dark fruit on that on the end. On the nose, but by and large, this one to me, I'm thinking brownies and cookie cake and things like that. Yeah. Long finish on that, very pleasing. It has a nice kind of oak note to the finish, but the flavor itself, the chocolate comes through, the sweetness comes through. There's a lot more dark fruit on the palate of this. Very nice. I haven't reviewed for the website any of the other batches of this. I never actually had a sample. I've tasted them out at bars and places like that. This is really good, and I'd be more than happy if I ever run across a bottle of this, I'm buying it. This is really good. This is exactly what you would want out of a Larceny barrel proof. So good job, Heaven Hill. We've got 2 winners so far. This is the one that worries me a little bit because the heavy char rye, it was okay. I think on my first taste, I liked it last year. The more I drank it, the less I liked it. It kind of devolved into a bit of a hot mess. Just the char was too much. And when I heard they were coming out with a bourbon version of it, I was disappointed. Some of the things they've done in the past on Russell's, they did the single barrel at 22 year. The Promise of Hope is just one of the, if I had to explain Promise of Hope, it would be classic bourbon flavors executed almost flawlessly. And then my favorite is the wheated mash bill, where they did the original batch wheat whiskey. That was just incredible. I think I bought 3 or 4 bottles of that. Still have a bottle, I believe, of that one. But this one, again, this is 10 years old. It's their standard bourbon mash bill, so it's going to be the same as Evan Williams, the same as Elijah Craig. Those number 5 char barrels, we'll see what that does. Typically, that's going to add a real heavy, woody, smoky note to it. And It's not overpowering. It's definitely oakier. It's definitely a little bit. It's definitely a little bit smokier. But I'm getting like a black currant, almost a licorice note out of this. Plums. I can smell the rye, the black pepper on this, which I really like. All in all, the nose is pretty good. I don't remember what I thought of the nose of the rye last year. I'll have to go back and watch that video, or you can do the same because it's right here on YouTube or on the website, depending on where you're watching this. But yeah, so on the nose, I feel like they've done a better job. Now, I don't remember the proof of the rye either. I probably should have looked that up before I started this video. But they had proofed it down to 110 maybe, or 105, something along those lines. This is 120, so it's up there, close to its barrel proof. So that might have something to do with it. But let's give this a taste. It is, without a doubt, I don't know how well you can see that on the camera. It is a lot darker than the Larceny, and a whole lot darker than the 100 proof Oldfitz. Even though the Oldfitz is older, you would expect a lot more color in that. Ooh. Wow, that drink's hot. So the initial burst of flavor you get with this, I'm just going to go ahead and say it's not pleasant. It is very tannic, very bitter, and it's that number 5 Char. Don't like that very much. It's kind of a charcoal flavor. Once you get past that, there's some good classic Elijah Craig or Evan Williams type of flavors in there. There's some pepper spices, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of vanilla. That kind of charcoal flavor does not reassert itself on the finish. It's actually a relatively short finish, which I'm going to try this again just to confirm that. But to me, it tasted like a medium to short finish, which I was happy with after that initial burst of wood. Yeah, it's a medium finish. A little bit of that tannic, that woody bitterness carries through. I'm just going to go ahead and say that Heaven Hill, if you have any more barrels that are number 5 Char, you probably should pull those now. Don't go 10 years on them again, and don't put them in Parker's again. This is, you know, I enjoy that Parker's does different things, but to me, Parker's Heritage is not an experimental line for them. Parker's Heritage should be things that they've done that they love, and they want to put out a new expression of it. The first time they did the barrel strength of the wheat whiskey is a great example, and even the malt whiskey is a pretty good example of that. Even though I didn't think it was a great whiskey, I thought it was interesting and worth it to be in this as a limited edition collection. These heavy Char things, I feel like they're reaching a little bit with that. Heaven Hill has a lot of whiskey stocks and a lot of really good whiskey, and to put the Parker's Heritage name on this one, just like last year's Heavy Char Rye, I think is a mistake. I think you can put it out as a Heaven Hill Select stock or something like that that's gift shop only, and it would probably have the same reception, same impact. You'd sell it all. But typically what I would say on this one is it's kind of a flawed whiskey for me. It's going to rank at best low 80s. It's that initial burst of just burned to a crisp wood that you get. I'm not loving it. I'm not. I'm going to try this again over the next couple of days. If my opinion changes, I'll record another video about it. Not a huge fan of the Parkers, so let's recap a little bit here. We have 3 whiskeys. 2 of them are the same mash bill, and 1 is just the Heavy Char at Heaven Hill. Of these 2, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's kind of a toss-up of which one I like the most. I'm probably going to go with the Oldfitz just because I've kind of been rooting for that line to hit its stride, and I feel like with the last 2 or 3 releases, it's been getting better and better, and this is really good. This is a 90-point whiskey if there was one. I'm going to say the same thing for Larceny. It's not going to score any lower if you were talking about it at just a 100-point scale. I've had a lot of very good Larceny barrel proof at this point. So I kind of know what to expect, and this is a good batch of it. I think that the 520 might be my favorite from this year, but this is really good. Let's go back and taste them all one more time and just make sure that my taste buds haven't changed now that I've acclimated a little bit more. Yeah, I really like that Oldfitz Gerald. That's a good bourbon. That's worth having, bottle or no bottle, decanter or no decanter. Good job, Heaven Hill. You picked some really good barrels in that one. Wow, the finish just kind of keeps going. That's definitely on the long side, and it gets sweeter. It's almost like a bubble gum that kind of sticks around on the tail end of that. That's very pleasant. I really like that. Let's try the Larceny one more time. It's pretty good. Between the two, I like the Old Fitzgerald the most. That finish is just wonderful on the Old Fitz. But the Larceny's really good too, and they're similar enough. I mean, you can tell that there's a very close kinship between the two because of that mash bill. But yeah, I like both of these. These are 1A and 1B, if I had to choose and rank these. Let's try this heavy Char again, now that we've had a chance to try those other two. I feel like the more I smell this, the more that burn to a crisp. It's almost like you ever been outside when someone squeals their tires. That smell of the rubber kind of melting on the road. It's almost the smell I get on this. And it's if you think that sounds a little unpleasant, I'm with you on it. Man, there's something when you get past that note. There's something that I really like here. And that's what disappoints me, that this is really close to being a really good whiskey. Unfortunately, the heavy Char keeps it from being even a good whiskey. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's kind of a miss for me. I'm an unabashed Heaven Hill fanboy. I love Heaven Hill. I love the nuttiness, which I don't get in this, that you get from most of their mash bills, most of the releases. I love the price points that you can get on most of their stuff. I think they taste good. It's a good value proposition. It's just a good, solid lineup from top to bottom. And the last two Parker's Heritages, I don't think they're representative of what Heaven Hill can do on their super limited release. They can do better. They've done better on most of them, other than these past two. And this one again, like I get it that you tried this twice, tried it with rye, tried it with bourbon. You want to put them out there because you went through the effort to do it. Maybe Heaven Hill Select Stock or some other route was the way to do that, or maybe blend it in with something else. I just don't enjoy it. Maybe someone else does. If you do, if you've bought that, because it's been out for a little bit now, I believe. If you have that and you really like it, comment below and just let me know what you think about it and what you like about it. If you agree with me, if you've had it and you think it's a little bit of a hot mess, leave that comment as well. We'd appreciate it. Otherwise, thank you for watching so much. I enjoy tasting these. I've got some more stuff coming up. I've got the Heaven Hill toasted, not Heaven Hill, I've got the Elijah Craig toasted barrel. I've got the Elijah Craig barrel proof, the most recent C920. I might do that side by side with the Larceny too. And I may do just a big tasting of a bunch of the Elijah Craig barrel proofs, because I got probably have 7 or 8, 9, 10 batches back there. That I'll have to clear out an evening for that, because that might get a little silly in the end. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing, consider supporting us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/ModernThirst. And again, end of November 2020, get your coin. You have a chance to win a $200 bottle. It's only $10 to enter, and that includes the shipping cost of the coin. So I will send that to you. You can pay with PayPal. You can pay with credit card, I think, through PayPal if you want to. Whatever. But thanks so much for watching. Comment, like, please subscribe, and have a great day. Cheers.